FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
If you've ever felt the system was rigged, that's because it is.
Conservative Rick Jackson doesn't owe anybody anything.
The political class protects itself. The media protects them. And the lobbyists prop up the whole thing.
Rick Jackson, the conservative who won't back down.
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and it is that day. It's runoff day, and, I love it because I do love it when I get all these people threaten me on social media. Like, you're going to be wrong, I'm going to do this. First of all, my position is you support who you believe in a primary and a runoff, and then you get behind whoever wins. That's always been my position. I have been crystal clear about that from the day since the day is long. And I will, if Burt Jones wins, I will support him. But if he doesn't win, there's a couple of huge mistakes that he has made. He may survive it. He may not. But the biggest thing is that he has had staff members that have been snarky at best and threatening at worst, reaching out to not only media people but other people and not really being cool about things. There's been bad consulting. Let me just tell you that. There's been bad consulting. This is all behind the scenes, and it may mean nothing. It may mean nothing. But, there'll be a lot of things happening later on today or tonight, and we'll be here to cover it. And I'm excited. If I will congratulate him if he wins. He's not my choice in this primary. That does not make me a bad person. That does not make you a bad person if you support Burt Jones. It is our right as Americans in a primary to be able to pick who we think is the best candidate. And you shouldn't get mad at somebody for picking somebody different than you do. But I will point out a couple of things in the most recent polling, which the polling has been everywhere from Rick Jackson up 10 points to Rick Jackson up 2 points. But all the polls have showed Rick Jackson up in this particular primary, but not over 50%. So somebody's got to get over 50%. There's only roughly about, 2%, 3-4% undecided. My theory is they don't show up. The people that are undecided don't show up, and then you readjust the numbers. But there's a couple of things in the crosstabs that I think are really important. Republicans have a problem with women voters. They do. They just do. And Burt Jones is much stronger with men and weak with women, if you look at the crosstabs. And Burt Jones is stronger Rick Jackson is stronger with women than a Republican has been in about 15 years, 6 or 8 points better with women. So, women are 55% in general. I don't know what runoffs are hard to predict, but in a general election, in a general primary, women are roughly 55% of the vote. So that doesn't mean Rick Jackson's going to get 55%. What it means is he's going to get 8 or 9% better than Burt Jones in the women's vote if this poll is correct. And Insider Advantage, who I know they lean towards Burt Jones, okay, their people that work for them are very strong Burt Jones supporters. They lean that way, but yet every poll they've put out has showed Rick Jackson ahead. And so we'll see what happens there. But if you look at the crosstabs, that's something that stands out to me. And frankly, something that I want in a general election. That was one of the considerations I made related to supporting Rick Jackson, is because one of the big problems Republicans have in a general is they can't get women to vote for them. And so if this is a person that can get 6 or 8% more of the female vote, that's going to be a person that's going to do a lot better. So we'll know the numbers tonight, though, and Caleb and I will be here starting at 7 o'clock and do live coverage. One of the things that's interesting also is yesterday in the afternoon, we had 24 hours of the craziest endorsements. You had Governor Kemp endorsing Burt Jones. You have, of course, President Trump endorsing Burt Jones. You had the president endorsing Mike Collins, okay? And so this kind of falls in line with the whole message that Rick has had, that he's not in with the lobbyists. He's not in with the other people that have been in politics a long time, that he is an outsider. But Later on in the day yesterday, right around 2:30, Donald Trump Jr. posted, regardless of what happens in the Georgia governor's race tomorrow, we should celebrate the patriots building up MAGA and an America First economy like Rick Jackson. When China threatened our amoxicillin supply, Rick saved the last amoxicillin manufacturing facility in America because he knows we can't let China control our entire supply of antibiotics. When the U.S. faced an oil refining shortage and the woke banks wouldn't finance a new one, Rick stepped up again and became the largest outside investor. This has been a hard-fought race with a lot of mudslinging, but I know Rick Jackson to be a good man, and that counts for a lot. This is not an endorsement. This is saying there are two good people running, but the only person he's naming in this is Rick Jackson. Okay, so he follows up because Kayla, who works for Bert, sent me a little message saying, I'll doubt you want to include this little tidbit, but sending it along just in case. And I said, I don't know why you would ask me that, because of course I'm going to include any information that's new that I get. And in my postings, I didn't say it was an endorsement. I said it was seemingly an endorsement. It looked like an endorsement without using the words. Now, here's what Donald Trump followed up with. And this is really kind of funny, too, because it's not that good when you think about if you're supporting Burt Jones. Donald Trump follows up by saying, by the way, this is not an endorsement of Rick, and I think Burt Jones is a great guy, too. My only point is that no matter who wins tomorrow, it's a victory for MAGA. So basically, Donald Trump Jr. is indicating that both of these candidates are MAGA value candidates. Okay, now, Keisha's going to use that against them, and she already is. Okay, but for a primary, that's important. Donald Trump Jr. says they're both MAGA. They're both MAGA. Then finally, the Washington Examiner said, Donald Trump Jr. backtracks after post-praising POTUS real Donald Trump endorsement's rival. Not an endorsement. And that's absolutely right. It's not an endorsement. But listen to this again. By the way, this is not an endorsement, clear, of Rick. I think Burt Jones, Georgia, is a great guy, too. So it means Rick's a great guy and Burt's a great guy, too. My only point is no matter who wins tomorrow, it's a victory for MAGA. So it's a little messy here in the last 24 hours, but I'm not surprised about that. I think it'll be, I don't think it's going to be 2 points. I think it's going to be bigger than that. But I'd love to know who you're voting for. I'd love to know what you think. I'd love to know if you've already voted or you're waiting for today. And if you're waiting for today, have you been there? Have the lines been long? Because we need a big turnout. Today. You can join us on the phones at 770-535-2911. Look, and also I want to include that all of this back and forth happened on social media, which means the average voter that's going to vote today probably doesn't read this. Okay, probably, because we really think that so many more people are on social media than actually are, and we got to look at how that plays out. But anyway, let's go to the phones now and talk to Chad in Oakwood. Chad, how you doing?
Good morning, Martha. You doing all right?
I'm doing great, thank you.
I heard that. Well, I'm going to miss you on the radio.
Thank you.
We don't always get along real good, but I think you're wonderful, to be honest with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, you'll still be hearing from me, but I just won't be on every day.
And God bless your health, and God bless your family.
Oh,
I
thank
just want to ask you a quick question.
Sure.
Ain't neither one of these candidates said anything. I've been listening to the radio, and I ain't been calling in lately like I used to.
I know
anyway,
you talked to Logan. You talked to Logan.
Yeah, I talked to Logan. I love old Logan. But anyway, I was just wondering, they neither one of them said a darn thing about protecting children from pedophiles. They ain't neither one of them.
Well, I know in their speeches they both have. They want to continue the work that Marty Kemp is doing. And also, I'm glad you called because I pulled an article that Markwayne Mullen spoke and said that they have now up to 156,000 children that they've recovered. And that's roughly half of the ones that were lost in the Biden era. I know that's not fast enough for you, but I knew you would care about that.
Yeah, it should be a mandatory life sentence. if you mess with a child.
I agree with you about that.
It should have been or a death penalty.
I mean, it's a horrible crime because, and I don't know if you followed what Tim Tebow is doing. Tim Tebow is, just spending a lot of his own money on some really important things where they are rehabilitating a lot of these young, mostly girls. There's some boys, but mostly girls that have been taken into this world and not only have been abused, but videos of them have been taken. The First Lady is working on this too to make sure that that we get rid of those videos because you don't want it to pop up again where that child's going to see it. And then also to make sure there's much harder sentences on people that would use children that way. And personally, a person that would do that to a child, they need to be taken out back and shot. Now, I know we have a due process and all that kind of stuff, but hurting a child like that, sexually assaulting a child over and over again and then videoing it and sharing it with your sick little friends, that should be death penalty.
Yeah, amen.
Thank you, Chad. Thank you for your kind words. We're going to take a break and then we'll be back.
Everyone wants to live a rich life, especially in retirement. Join Rich Life advisor Bo Henderson for the Rich Life Retirement Show, where the math shows you the path. Sundays at 12:35 on WDUN.
What if I'm survived by a spouse with dementia or in a nursing home? Will they be protected? This is Kevin Tharp, elder law and estate planning attorney, and I've been helping people in your situation for over 35 years. And I can help you protect your loved ones when the time comes. But you need to make the first call. Visit my website at kevintharpwithane.com and learn how to get help planning for the future of your loved ones. That's kevintharpwithane.com.
You wouldn't want someone you couldn't trust working on your family's HVAC and plumbing, so why would you call anyone but Gainesville Mechanical? They're your local, most trusted and award-winning HVAC and plumbing company in North Georgia. From maintenance appointments and clogged drains to plumbing emergencies and new system installations, their team is ready to serve you. And with their customer assurance maintenance plan, you can receive discounts, priority scheduling, and 24/7 no overtime rates. Gainesville Mechanical and Bryant, doing whatever it takes since 1989.
Some car dealers want to sell you a car. At Hardy Chevrolet, we'd rather help you find the vehicle that's right for you. This is Mike Cormier. We call it the Hardy Chevrolet difference. Since you're the one who will be in the driver's seat of that new Chevy, we think you should be in the driver's seat when it comes to making the selection. It's like Charles Hardy always said,
we love you and we need you.
Together, let's drive. At Hardy Chevrolet, Browns Bridge Road in Gainesville, online at hardychevrolet.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250, micro, to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
Always here, always local.
From the Access North Georgia Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, Hall County Sheriff Gerald Couch expected back to work following his expired suspension while facing criminal DUI charges in a pending case. Details at accessnorthga.com and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
It is the Martha Zoller Show. Thank you so much for being with us today. And it is primary day. I'm going to just be ready. Right after 9:30, I'm going to go over kind of where the polling places are. I'm not going to list every single one, but there are 4 that change location, and you might want to listen to that. Emery Donahue texted in and asked me to do that, and I think that's a great suggestion. Hope Emery is doing well. We also had a text message that voted early and voted for Jackson, Dooley, Kennedy, Fleming, Long, Greer, and Talbert. So that's who they voted for. And, tell me who you voted for. You don't have to put your name with it. You can take a look at what's happening. I'd love to know why you support who you support. I mean, I am all about this process. I think you should love going to the polls. I think you should love casting your vote, and you shouldn't get mad at people who don't vote the way you do. That's just ridiculous. That's not what this country was founded on. I think Jason Estevez made a really good point yesterday, that it used to be when you went to your family reunion or whatever, you didn't know how everybody voted because you kept it private to yourself. And, you're not going to judge your family members unless you really got really bad Trump derangement syndrome. You're not going to judge your family members on how they vote. You might talk to them. I mean, my boys all vote Libertarian, okay? And because they just think the government shouldn't be in their lives at all. I suspect their wives vote Democrat. I think they do, but I'm not sure. And because we don't talk about it. They know how I vote because it's just what I do for a living. But what I try to do is be that person that can answer questions for them. And they still do call me and say, hey, Mom, I saw this on TV. Is that true? And then I'll just give them what I know about it. I don't always know whether it's true or not either. So it's interesting. Now, Matt Towery is the Insider Advantage poll that I alluded to before. And here's a couple of minutes of him explaining what these last-minute endorsements mean and what the polling shows. So here's Matt Towery.
Okay, everybody, this is Matt Towery with Insider Advantage, about to dash off to do my weekly appearance on Laura Ingram's show, but we have the final numbers right here now for you first in those Georgia primaries. And unless the Pope makes some endorsement before midnight, we won't be doing
I'd like
any
the
more
Pope
polling.
to make an
Man, was
endorsement. That would be
yesterday
great.
With all the endorsements popping in and out, and they had some effect. Let's get to the numbers right now. I'm looking at them in the governor's race. It's Rick Jackson, 48. Burt Jones, 47. You can't get any closer. Margin of error is over 3%, which means that race is basically statistically dead heat tie. Let's look in the Senate race. Mike Collins, well, he looks like he's at about 49, almost 50%. He is at 50%. Derek Dooley is at 48%. But once again, you got 2% undecided. It's close in both races. It looks to me like in the instance of the gubernatorial race, let me zoom in here. It looked like to me that Jones continues to enjoy a lead among males, while Jackson enjoys a lead among females. That's not a big shock. He's doing better, Jackson, in the suburban areas. And in the Senate race, Dooley does better among females, but Collins matches him by doing better with males. This thing is as close as it can get. Now, anything could happen. And this is sort of like when we're down here in Florida, we had a hurricane coming and it could go left or it could go right or it could go to Matt's house. And it's done that before. I would just say that anything could happen in this race. It is the hardest race I have polled in the entire time I polled Georgia politics, any race whatsoever.
So, he talks about the women versus men. He did not mention, and it was just a little 2-minute clip. He did not mention what I've seen is that the turnout in rural areas, which is going to hurt Burt Jones, John Kennedy, those kind of folks, is not as good as the turnout in Metro Atlanta. So in the Senate race, what you saw was Derek Dooley really focusing on Atlanta for this runoff period, and Mike Collins focusing more in rural areas. You hardly saw Mike on TV in Atlanta. He was a little bit, but not very much. Then the same kind of thing is the strategy for Jackson and Jones. Jones is really trying to get his rural vote out. The interesting stat, every single ad that Jackson did for the runoff was a negative ad. There were, until he got to the ones with his, I think he did one ad with his kids also, but it was close to 100%, the buys related to negative advertising. I know he was on with Bill Maine this morning, and he is getting out there and doing some interviews. So he's been a lot more negative in his advertising. Jackson started out negative, and the last, 3 or 4 ads that have been out there have been positive ads. Now, I heard, a couple of things from my sources related to, first of all, the meetings that happened over the weekend, or the parties that happened over the weekend with President Trump, is there were several people that I have talked to that overheard the president kind of, expressing some concern about how Bert's going to do on today. There's also a lot of people yesterday, after the Don Jr. things came out, there were a number of sources that I have that said there's no way he would have made those posts without his dad knowing about it. Okay, so I'm not saying that he's backing out. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is the weirdest last 48 hours. And I agree with Matt. This is going to be the hardest one to call. But this is the weirdest last 48 hours I've seen in a very long time in a runoff, probably a primary also, where so many things that are impactful have happened. But is there enough time to either solidify or change the minds of voters that didn't vote early, took a weekend off, and now they either voted early and they're not voting today, or they're voting today? So look, I just try to look at the numbers. I try to look at the data, and the data says historically that if you're in that 49 or better, or 45 or better in first place and going into a runoff, you're going to win. If you're under 40%, which both of these governor's candidates were, you generally, the second place person wins. Generally. Again, it's not hard and fast. You got to go out and get your work. I hope people are still knocking on doors and calling people and making sure they get out to the polls, because I want this decision to be made by a representative amount of the voters. But you know what? It's a runoff. So if you get your voters out, you win. If you don't, you lose. And I have a little personal experience on this. We'll be back.
It's Bill Maine, and I've been telling you about our trip to Alaska with Colette and Peach State Bank and Trust. You may be curious but have questions. No problem. Join us Thursday the 18th at Peach State Bank and Trust in downtown Gainesville at noon. Colette will be with us to answer all your questions and give you complete details on our adventure. Departing August 25th of next year, it includes river travel by Sternwheeler, breathtaking sights from domed rail cars, a stay in Denali National Park, and a 7-night cruise aboard a floating resort. To learn more, call Colette at 855-453-8838, and be sure to log on to WDUNTravels.com and let us know that you're coming June 18th to Peach State Bank and Trust at noon for the special information session. No obligation to travel with us, just good information. Do hope you'll be with us for the session and to travel to Alaska. Let's go! Let me show you the world. Come away with me. Get full details at WDUNTravels.com. Brought to you by Colette, Peach State Bank and Trust, and WDUN.
This is Nick
and Laura from
Nichols Body Shop. We want you to know it's your choice who repairs your vehicle.
Do not assume you can get the best repair for the cheapest price.
Every shop is different.
We work for you, our customer, to give you the best repair possible.
Learn more by calling 770-967-8200 or come by the shop. Estimates are always free.
You can also find us on Facebook at Nichols Body Shop,
the home of quality repairs
and old-fashioned service.
Why do North Georgians love starting their day with Bill Maine?
It's this man. It's the compassion. It's the dignity. It's the wisdom. It's the horse sense of the guy.
Well, that and local news, weather, and traffic. It's Mornings on Main Street, weekdays on North Georgia's News Talk. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 9:30. Fox Fox News, I'm Therese Crowley. President Trump at the G7 summit in France declares Iran will not develop, buy, or acquire a nuclear weapon under the Iran peace deal. And if they do, all hell will rain down on them. Also expressing some frustration with Israel's 11th hour strike on Hezbollah in Beirut.
We should have been able to do this yet faster. It just goes on forever. And when that happens, it throws a negative light on the big deal, and that's the deal with Iran.
At the G7 turning his focus to Ukraine's president and the Russian war.
It's been 4 years of war now. The president, though, going into this meeting, seemed very optimistic about bringing this war to an end. He said that maybe we can do something. So perhaps that is the momentum he's feeling from the Iran deal.
Fox's Aisha Hasni. Fox has learned the FBI foiled an elaborate plot against the UFC Freedom 250 White House event. 23 suspected, 5 in custody. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access North Georgia Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. Habersham County officials are asking for the public's aid to locate a missing 17-year-old last seen late Monday night. Officials say through social media, Judy Blair Sailors was last seen leaving the Dairy Queen in Cornelia in a red Ford Ranger pickup truck following her work shift at around 11:55 p.m. She was heading towards Stevens County on Talmadge Drive. A description of Judy and a photo can be found at accessnorthga.com. A Gainesville man behind bars after authorities say he intentionally caused a crash that left 2 people hurt in Claremont this month. The crash happened June 6th on Cleveland Highway at King Street. Derek Booth with the Hall County Sheriff's Office says Eric Domingo Romero was driving east on King Street when he ran a stop sign and hit a southbound car on Cleveland Highway, driven by Edwin Omar Roman Suarez of Gainesville.
Mr. Romero was driving under the influence of alcohol at the time and then intentionally drove into Suarez's vehicle in an attempt to harm himself.
Romero faces several charges, including DUI and aggravated assault. And the Gainesville City Board of Education's approved a tentative budget for the upcoming fiscal year, as it says it's unable to adopt a 2027 budget as it's awaiting tentative millage rate and digest projections from the city of Gainesville. And by law, the systems must adopt a tentative budget for the next fiscal year by June 30th. More details and more news at accessnorthga.com. Now here's your Access North Georgia weather forecast.
Mainly cloudy skies, scattered rain showers, especially this afternoon. Highs today in the low 70s. Tonight, more cloud cover, scattered rain showers, lows around 67. From the WDUN Lawson Air Conditioning and Plumbing Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Talmo, 73 degrees. Beaufort was 72, and in Gainesville, 71. From North Georgia's News Talk AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Breaking news. Here's Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Over the last 8 years, we've accomplished a lot, and we've had a strong ally in Burt Jones. Burt knows how to get things done because that's what he's done in the state Senate and as lieutenant governor. Cutting taxes, taking criminals off the streets, raising teacher pay, creating jobs. Burt has been there every step of the way.
Let's get the vote out for Burt on Tuesday. And here's President Trump, also endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Burt Jones has been an incredible leader. This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win.
Burt Jones is going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia.
Georgia, now it's time for all Republicans to unite and vote Burt Jones for governor on Tuesday.
Paid for by Burt Jones for Georgia.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Mesdames et messieurs, we need to talk about l'Amérique. As French, we need to stop saying Vive la France and start saying Vive l'Amérique. This place is incroyable. C'est incroyable. I just had Texas barbecue for the first time in my life. Poof. Better than any moment in my life. And I am married and have 2 kids. Oh, but in France you have des crêpes, les petits pains au chocolat, les croissants. No, I give my left croissant for a Texas brisket. Don't even get me started on Costco. Costco is bigger than my village. where I live. Whatever you want at Costco, it's there. You just show up and you could buy your whole life there.
It is the Martha Zoller Show. I am loving this stuff. This guy goes on to say, I wanted to be a snooty Frenchman when I went into this Costco, and I was sucked in. It's like this freezer where these Cokes are is bigger than my apartment.
I had saw somewhere, Martha, where someone was saying, well, for all the Europeans who've always, got onto Americans for being fat and lazy, well, now that you're coming over here and trying our food, you see why we are so sometimes now.
And this one guy goes, if you want to hate America, then watch the news. If you want to love America, just drive cross country.
There you go.
It's so great. We got a text message in that said, I voted. However, in my opinion, the majority of people seeking office do not go into politics because they want to make life better for the people. That all they're interested in is the old what's in it for me. Time to look at the rare individual who is not getting into politics for or as a career. Stephen. Wonder what he means by that. Anyway, let's go to the phones now and talk to Greg in Pendergrass. Hey, Greg, how you doing?
Pretty good, and you?
I'm doing really good, thank you.
Well, I'm sad that you're going to be gone, I can tell you that.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'll still be you'll still hear me from time to time, but it won't be every day.
You're one of the reasons I listen to talk radio.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, I did. I voted for Rick Jackson, and the reason why is the first time I heard him was on your show, and you asked him about online gambling in Georgia. I think it was online gambling. And he started to give you an answer, and then he goes, you know what? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, because he didn't want to trample on people's rights, but he didn't want to destroy the family. And he goes, I'll have to pray about it and get back to you. And I was like, you know what? That's pretty honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I voted for Rick Jackson.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, because I think this is what this is all about. You talk about the people that you like and support in primaries and runoffs, and then you decide whether you're going to get behind. I mean, I personally am a kind of a party person, so I will get behind whoever the nominee is, but you still have to vote you got to vote your conscience in a primary. You'll never get anything different. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate your call today. Now, Emery asked me to talk about these changes in polling places. Okay, so I want to make sure I get those to you right now. And I understand and checked for myself that the My Voter page that you can I just Google My Voter page. The website is like mvp.sos.ga.gov, which, oh my God, you can't remember that, right? So Google My Voter page. These have been updated on My Voter page. So if you go to My Voter page, all you do is put in your last name, your date of birth, and what county you live in, and all your information will come up from a sample ballot, the last time you voted, all that kind of stuff. But there are 4 voting places in Hall County that have changed because there are things going on at the location where they can't have the voting today. So the first one is Flat Creek Baptist Church was the original location on Flat Creek Road. It is now at Flat Creek Baptist Church Annex at 3780 Old Oakwood Road. So it's a little bit of a difference in location, but still within the precinct. The second one was at Flowery Branch Elementary School. If you voted there, you're going to be at West Hall Middle School on McEver Road because they're doing work at Flowery Branch Elementary School. Hopewell Baptist Church was the original location on Poplar Springs Road in Gainesville. The new location is Red Wine Methodist Church, also on Poplar Springs Road, not far away. And then the fourth one is Pleasant Hill Baptist Church. They have things going on there. They couldn't have it. And the new location is Free Chapel. There'll be signs out front, but you also can look at My Voter page and see exactly where it is. Polls opened about 2.5 hours ago. I'd love to hear from somebody that's been to a poll and can tell me, a polling place, I guess I should say, and tell me if there's a line there, if people are showing up. And if you live in these areas outside of Hall County that I know listen to me, I would love to hear what your voting experience is like today, too. You can join us on the phones at 770-535-2911. But I am going to kind of play a lot of these little stories from these folks coming from Europe and around the world. There were some African people, too, that just loved it, couldn't believe it. They were in a little town in Alabama and couldn't believe how clean it was. I think because they're playing some of these beginning games at Auburn. I mean, like, why would they be in Alabama? I know Whitney Pimentel, who was involved in Hall County GOP, she and her family went to Auburn to watch one of the pre-games.
Right, yeah, and like I said, they're played all across the U.S. There's games played in, I think, New Jersey and Miami and Atlanta, obviously, just all over the U.S. In these kind of early stages.
It's so funny because Justin Trudeau, who used to be the Prime Minister of Canada, a year ago basically told people, or 2 years ago, told people not to travel to the U.S. because of all the horrible things that are happening here. But he's now dating Katy Perry. And so he and Katy Perry are going all over America to FIFA games. Okay, so, now that he's not prime minister, he like everybody else, wants to travel to the United States. I've been involved through Rotary Club with GRSP for a number of years, and which is a student scholarship program where we bring about 45 students a year over. And we have a student at Brenau. We have several at UNG, at UGA, all around the state. And the first thing they want to talk to you about is a road trip. And then the second thing is all the snack food. They go crazy over all the snack food.
Oh, all this, and the clip we played yesterday with the gentleman going into a Walmart and saying, "Look at this Fanta! It's so bright. It's so orange." Because they're just not used to that.
No, and I tell you, what I will say is the one thing these European girls that come and go to Brenau, they don't change their lifestyle of walking everywhere. They walk everywhere that they can, even if it might be dangerous, and so they don't gain the weight. They all worry that they're going to gain weight while they're here. But I tell you, I had the freshman 15 when I went off to college, when you could eat whatever you wanted to eat whenever you want. I mean, the meal plan people, the places were open 24 hours a day.
And that was dangerous.
It was very dangerous, So I understand the concern about that. I mean, but if you keep up your activity level, you'll be fine. And then the novelty wears off. You can't eat junk all the time, and. But the portions are huge, and that's one thing they talked about, too. And it's funny watching these kids eat barbecue for the first time, or at least American barbecue for the first time, and they're trying to cut it with a knife and fork.
I know. I saw there was they interviewed some fans who were supporting Japan in the World Cup, and they were in Texas, and they said, "Oh, we had Texas barbecue, and it was so good." It's like the brisket was the size of my head.
I know. The portions are huge. The portions are really, because I don't eat big portions anymore. That's one of the things that I don't do since I've been trying to get healthier. I don't really limit what I eat, except not as much salt, unfortunately. Because I do like salt, but I can't eat as much of it. But I just try to keep the portion small. But it's hard to do when you get a slab of meat that's like the size of my laptop.
No, it's tough. And also, too, I grew up with my father saying in a famous quote of, "I never met a to-go plate I liked." So that once it was in front of him, that was it.
I never met a to-go plate I liked. I love taking to-go, actually, because then I can eat it for another couple of days.
Oh, exactly.
When we go to Waffle House, that's another place that these people have loved going to Waffle House. I'll get the whole breakfast, with everything, and then I eat about half of it and take the rest home, especially if it's got a waffle involved. And then I eat it for breakfast like the next day or the next 2 days.
I think they, like you said, they went to the Walmarts, the Buc-ee's, so on and so forth. But if you want the true USA experience, you got to go to a Waffle House.
You got to.
You have to.
You got to. And I think they're all over the country, aren't they?
I think they have expanded now.
In the South.
They're still a lot, of course, primarily here in the South and, of course, in Georgia. But I think they are starting to expand more towards the rest of the U.S. and out in that area. But it's just always been interesting seeing how all these fans react to all the food and drinks you can get. And I did see, too, that in Atlanta, because, they're playing matches there. And Arthur Blank does a phenomenal job with the ticket pricing. I saw somewhere that they were comparing the food prices in Atlanta compared to, let's just say, New York or Miami. And I mean, it was just head over heels, so much more expensive for, like, let's just say
beer
chips and nachos.
In Atlanta?
Yeah, about to say beer, let's just say in Atlanta, $7, right? But I'm sure it was probably 15 plus somewhere else.
Oh, okay, so we had better prices here.
We had so much cheaper prices here in Atlanta, so I know all the fans appreciated that.
So there was this crowd, and we're going to play the clip later, the Scottish guys who you've heard a lot about because they most of them are moving on to wherever the Scottish team is going. But They on top of all the money they paid for the tickets, all this stuff. Well, transportation's ridiculously expensive, and even in the MARTA, what's their equivalent of MARTA, they are raising the prices, and I guess to keep the vagrants off. I don't know, but these guys rented every school bus in Providence, Rhode Island, and then used those. They ended up staying there and used yellow school buses to get 80 school buses to get their group back and forth to the games. I mean, just crazy, crazy. Anyway, you can join us on the phones at 770-535-2911. I just love that all this good press about the United States is going out there, and people can see for themselves just how great the United States is. I think it's fantastic. Let's go to the phones now and talk to Frank in Gainesville. Hey, Frank, how you doing?
I'm good, Martha. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So you're hanging it up, huh?
I'm hanging up for daily radio. Yes, I am.
Well, I'll miss you.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to say, what's your thinking on why Kemp made this last-minute endorsement?
Yeah, I just don't know. I've been told there was a phone call between he and President Trump, but I don't have that from anything other than background sources. I don't know, because it's been done. I mean, Governor Deal endorsed Casey Cagle at the last minute. It didn't really help. Even President Trump, several weeks ago in the Iowa primary, endorsed a sitting congressman for the Iowa governor's race at the last minute, and it didn't work. So, I think it's already baked in the cake, meaning if Burt Jones was going to win, he wasn't going to win because Brian Kemp endorsed him at the final hour, okay? If he's going to win, it's going to be because of other reasons besides that. If he loses, though, Kemp, it's bad for Kemp because he got involved in that race, and if then he may lose his Senate race too, which means that's 2 Senate races with candidates he supported that did not get elected. So it's a problem. I don't know the reason.
Well, it's very interesting because Trump bailed him out when he was running for governor, and that's one of the issues between them, that Kemp was not loyal to him. So I just wondered what's going on there.
I really don't think that it was that. If loyalty is judged by how he responded to the 2020 election, then fine. But he was the guy that opened up the states during COVID the earliest. He did a lot of things that were very supportive of President Trump. And I think that it's interesting because both he and Ron DeSantis, they both had the Trump endorsement in their first race. But in their second race, where they didn't have the Trump endorsement, they actually won by bigger margins, both of them. So I think the Trump endorsement, as you know, here in Georgia is tricky. It works for some people. It doesn't work for other people. But I don't blame that on Trump, because the candidate is always ultimately responsible for the decisions they make and how they do. It's not Donald Trump's fault if Burt Jones wins or loses, or it's not all because of him. It's because of decisions that are made in the entire campaign, Frank. Thank you so much, and we'll take a break and we'll be back.
It's the news that affects you and the talk that keeps you listening.
We'll continue on with additional discussions today as we stay engaged.
North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
For over 50 years, the Jim Shorkey Auto Group has been built on trust and family values. And at Jim Shorkey Kia Gainesville, that tradition continues with great service and great deals. Like the 2026 Kia Sorrento, named Best Midsize 3-Row SUV for the money by U.S. News and World Report. All backed by our 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And get your first 4 oil changes included with the purchase of a new Kia.
Your deal.
Your way.
What a great day.
At Jim Shorkey Kia in Gainesville. See dealer for warranty and maintenance details.
When summer hits, your lawn work doesn't slow down, and neither should you. That's where Toro mowers come in. Built for power, comfort, and a smooth, reliable cut, Toro helps you tackle tough grass and long days with ease. You're not just cutting grass, you're getting the job done right. Find your Toro mower at Howard Brothers. They've got the team and machines to keep you mowing all season long. The grass is always greener with Toro and Howard Brothers.
This is Grant Nichols, and at Loretta's Country Kitchen, we know life can really pile up. There's work getting the kids to practice and shopping. With all that, the week can really wear you out. The last thing you want to do is spend Saturday in the kitchen. Not to worry, we've just added lunch and dinner to our Saturday lineup at Loretta's. That's right, not only are we open for breakfast on Saturdays, but we're also serving up lunch from 11 till 2 and dinner from 4:30 until 8. Give your kitchen and your family a break with breakfast, lunch, and dinner Saturdays at Loretta's Country Kitchen, Mundy Mill Road, Oakwood, where it's all good.
If you like Brian Kemp, you're going to love Rick Jackson.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story. I've kind of felt like for really 2 years now that race is right for a political outsider, especially somebody that could self-fund.
Rick Jackson, a conservative outsider who will make Georgia proud, just like Brian Kemp.
I'm Rick Jackson. Brian Kemp wins big for Georgia. Record jobs, teacher pay raises, and when Hollywood liberals tried to boycott Georgia, Kemp never backed down.
The conservative outsider, just like Kemp.
As governor, I'll slash property taxes and lead America in job creation. I'm Rick Jackson. Like Governor Kemp, I'll fight for Georgia and win big.
Rick Jackson's been a good supporter of mine. He's got a great story.
Early voting is now open. Runoff election Tuesday, June 16th. Paid for by Rick Jackson for Governor Incorporated.
Always here, always local.
From the Access North Georgia Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, Habersham Sheriff's investigators are asking for help in locating a missing 17-year-old girl last seen leaving her job Monday. Details at accessnorthga.com. And coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical, from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Need to take a minute to appreciate the beauty of the United States of America and how awesome it is. I honestly stand here in awe. You can hear the joy in my voice. Let me show you real quick. Just look at this. How gorgeous is that little town? Look at that. Just pride and love for their country. Look at this. Wait, hold it. Look at that. America, land that I love. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. This place is home for me now, and I feel so safe. I mean, I can go down an alleyway. I mean, when last did you walk down in South Africa in an alleyway? You'd be dead in a second. Look at this. No one's stealing the flowers or breaking anything. There's literally not even a cigarette butt, just American flags and love for the country. And everyone is so welcoming to people like me.
It is the Martha Zoller Show. He's very happy, and he's in Alabama. So that was one of those kind of early games, and he was just loving it, wasn't he?
No, he had such a great... He was just like I said, just a small little town there, just going through it and enjoying the simplicities of life here.
And people are freaking out because there is a bracket out there that shows, if the stars align, the U.S. could be playing Britain on July 4th.
I am hoping that happens. What a party that would be.
That would be a party. Okay, let's go to the phones now and talk to Wyatt in Beaufort. Hey, Wyatt, how you doing?
Doing just fine. There's a lot going on today, but I want to talk about gas prices. I've felt this way for the last 3 months. The governor gave us a gas tax break, and I feel like that we did not fully get the tax break. I think it was divided between the gas stations and us, because our prices should have dropped 30 cents a gallon. We should have been 30, and it was not.
Right.
Even today, if you'll pick up your phone and go to Gas Buddy and go over the map and look at it, we're still in North Georgia. We're still really high. I was in Chattanooga the other week, and I bought gas for $2.95 a gallon.
I paid $3.29 this past weekend coming through Tennessee. $3.29.
And if you pick it, and I base my prices on Costco and Sam's. They pretty much, they're everywhere. But if you pull up that thing, even on the Florida line down there, gas is always higher on the beach line. They're a lot cheaper, because I was in Florida when we had the 30%, 30 cents taken off. And yeah, it was about 15 cents a gallon higher in Florida than it was Georgia. So, it should have been 30 cents. And right now, North Georgia is probably the highest price in the southwest, even southeast, and even all the way up to Illinois. You can get gas under $3 a gallon if you pick and choose. I mean, you can't just go to one of these smaller stations. They're going to be higher. But if you use the base system, which is your Quick Trip and Costco and Sam's, you can get an idea. And right now, there's some hoodooing going on, and I can't figure it out. But something's definitely wrong. Maybe they've gotten to a point they've not been real competitive lately, and they're not wanting to break away and get competitive again. I don't know, but we are so much higher in like Chattanooga, and you can go all the way up to Illinois, and you can find stations.
Why?
Under $3.
Thanks for your call. Appreciate it very much. We got some text messages that came in. One texter said, I voted for Rick Jackson for governor, Vernon Jones for Secretary of State, and left the Senate runoff blank. I don't like either one. Another person said, come on, Martha. All barbecue is American. Anybody else that says they make barbecue stole it from us. So I guess Korean barbecue stole it from us. Hey, I love that idea. We do it the best, that's for sure.
No, you're not wrong about that.
That's right. And then we got a phone call over the break from a listener that said they voted at the West Hall Middle School, which was one of those changed locations, at 9:30, just after 9:30, and they were the 44th person of the day. So lots of things happening out there. And it's interesting to me. We're going to see how many people vote on this day versus the early voting. Now, the early voting's shorter. As well, the election day obviously isn't shorter, but we had about 450,000 total votes that had been cast at the end of early voting. Some of those were absentee ballots that had been counted already. And, we had 2 million roughly that voted in the primary. So I don't know if we're going to get over 1 million today, maybe 1.2 million. That would be probably a pretty good runoff number. But like I said, Caleb and I will be here at 7 o'clock. We've got tentatively lined up all these candidates to call in, and we'll see how it all goes. I mean, they're not going to call it all before they know what's going on. There's probably most of the fly-arounds were yesterday, where people got to where the candidates flew all around the state of Georgia. There might be a little bit of campaigning today, but a lot of praying. We'll be back on the Martha Zoller Show.
Cancer. One small cell can change everything. Beating it takes something big. Northside Hospital Cancer Institute is built for it. Built for breakthroughs, pioneering clinical research, treatment, and surgical innovation, with the most cancer centers and board-certified oncologists in Georgia. We're built around you, with personalized care from screening through survival. Northside Hospital Cancer Institute, built to beat cancer.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run, because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Please be advised, you may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
I thought those were good for me.
What's healthy for one person may cause inflammation for another. So how do you know what your body actually needs? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that analyzes your real-time biology to give you personalized nutrition guidance and custom supplements.
Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase.
WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10 o'clock.
They plotted an attack outside the White House. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. But the FBI thwarted it days before, disrupting plans to target the UFC Freedom 250 event in the Octagon on the White House lawn Sunday night. Fox's David Spunt reports.
5 are in custody. Fox Digital reporting investigators have 23 people on a list as part of this potential network of alleged plotters. Investigators tell Fox the plan was to use drones with explosives to hit buildings near the White House, which would force a mass evacuation and steer crowds toward a pre-staged sniper team. A, quote, second wave was allegedly planning to storm the White House gate.
Of course, that never happened. Vice President Vance was at the event and tells Fox.
This is what happens when people turn the rhetoric up so loud that disagreeing with somebody is a cause for violence. That's the place that we've come to, unfortunately, with too much of our political rhetoric. We got to tell everybody to tone it down.
Especially, says people on the left. As for Iran, the vice president also tells Fox.
The United States working with our Gulf Arab partners in a way you've never seen before in the history of this country. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've gotten to the point where we have a very good peace deal that's on the table that we're ready to sign.
And he'll be signing it Friday in Geneva. That's when President Trump says shipping will flow freely through the reopened Strait of Hormuz.
The ships are starting to move nicely. Oil is starting to go, and the prices are coming down rapidly.
Falling almost more than 3% again today. And the president also said at the G7 summit in France this morning, he might soon read every word of the agreement at a news conference.
Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. That's what it says. It won't have one to buy, to develop.
He's also pushing back on reports the deal includes a $300 billion fund for Iran.
He wants to make it very clear that no amount of U.S. tax dollars are going to be going to Iran, that fund is actually going to be put together by the Gulf Coast Coalition as long as Iran keeps their end of the bargain.
Fox's Aisha Hosni in Geneva. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access North Georgia Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow, and the polls are open across Georgia today for the 2026 primary runoff elections. And several key local, state, and federal races are up for grabs in the Republican and Democratic Party races. The polls will remain open until 7 tonight, and we'll have election coverage for you with WDUN's Caleb Hutchins and Martha Zoller this evening, as well as online at accessnorthga.com. Gainesville City Board of Education has approved a tentative budget for the upcoming fiscal year. WDUN's Hamilton Keener reports.
The school system said it has been unable to adopt a fiscal year 2027 budget as it is awaiting a tentative millage rate and digest projections from the city of Gainesville. By law, systems must adopt the budget for the next fiscal year by June 30th. Though a millage rate has not been determined, the school system said it anticipates a general fund of $110.5 million in revenues and expenditures of just under $112 million. The school system said it will likely dip into its reserves for the upcoming fiscal year. A spending resolution was also passed so operations can continue without a final budget. Public hearing dates for the budget are on accessnorthga.com.
A Gainesville man is behind bars after authorities say he intentionally caused a crash that left 2 people injured in Claremont June 6th along Cleveland Highway. Derek Booth with the Hall County Sheriff's Office says 31-year-old Eric Domingo Romero was driving east on King Street when he ran a stop sign and hit a southbound car on Cleveland Highway driven by 32-year-old Edwin Omar Roman Suarez of Gainesville.
Mr. Romero was driving under the influence of alcohol at the time and then intentionally drove into Suarez's vehicle in an attempt to harm himself.
Suarez and his passenger both were hurt. Romero was hospitalized as well, but then arrested on DUI, serious injury by vehicle, and aggravated assault charges. And good news coming from the Habersham County Sheriff's Office this hour as the search for a missing 17-year-old girl ends on a positive note. Habersham officials say they have located Julie Sailors after she was reported missing late Monday night. She reportedly was found in a neighboring county Tuesday morning, but no further details have been released as her initial disappearance is an ongoing investigation. More news at accessnorthga.com. Now here's your Access North Georgia weather forecast.
Good Tuesday morning. Mainly cloudy skies, scattered rain showers, especially this afternoon. Highs today in the low 70s. This evening and tonight, more cloud cover, scattered rain showers, lows around 67. From the WDUN Lawson Air Conditioning and Plumbing Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
Right now in Swanee, 72 degrees, Toccoa, 68, and in Gainesville, 70. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Breaking news. Here's Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Over the last 8 years, we've accomplished a lot, and we've had a strong ally in Burt Jones. Burt knows how to get things done because that's what he's done in the state Senate and as lieutenant governor. Cutting taxes, taking criminals off the streets, raising teacher pay, creating jobs. Burt has been there every step of the way.
Let's get the vote out for Burt on Tuesday.
And here's President Trump, also endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Burt Jones has been an incredible leader. This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win. Burt Jones is going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia.
Georgia, now it's time for all Republicans to unite and vote Burt Jones for governor on Tuesday.
Paid for by Burt Jones for Georgia.
Talking about the issues that affect you most. It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. Now from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, here's Martha Zoller on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
All right, we're here outside Fenway Park, Boston, to watch the Red Sox. I'm here at the sausage guy. Everyone said to come here. Kevin said, come here, Kevin. Come here, come here, come.
Gotta get sausage.
Recommendation from Kevin. Directly here in Boston. I'm gonna try it. I'm looking forward to this. What's do you have any like favorite ways to eat these sausage with ketchup or mustard?
I like some mustard on it.
Yeah. I'm gonna try it straight first.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's good stuff.
It is the Martha Zoller Show. So the Scots invaded Boston. They moved on to the next town, wherever. I don't know if Scotland's out or not. I'm not even following the teams. I love just these things, but they're like they went to a few Cubs games because it's more affordable than going to FIFA, and they got to eat. They called it a sausage. I think it's just a hot dog.
Yeah, I'm about to say they have a looks like an expensive looking bun there. It's not like it's just your average dollar hot dog bun. They put a little bit of work into those, but no, they like I said, the Scots have invaded Fenway Park out there in Boston, and they have taken to the game of baseball. I saw a clip floating around the other day of all the various fans just chanting who knows what in the stadium, just ringing throughout, which is, like I said, it's what they're doing for the culture in soccer, but it's interesting to see it kind of come over or make its way to baseball.
Absolutely. So we got a couple of more text messages and said, Martha, I voted for Rick Jackson first go round, voting today for Burt Jones. Okay, that's interesting because we're not hearing too many people that are shifting from Burt Jones to Rick Jackson or Rick Jackson to Burt Jones. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. I'd love it if I know you're texting, so maybe you want to text back in the reason why you changed your mind, because I think that's really interesting. You are more likely a Burt Jones voter. I'm assuming, well, I shouldn't know. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. Okay, if you're a man, you're more likely to vote for Burt Jones. If you're a woman, you're more likely to vote for Rick Jackson. But, obviously, there's always exceptions to all of that. It's not going to be all one or the other. But I'm excited. You know what? I'm getting really excited, Logan. I love this process. And even though I picked a horse in the governor's race, it's still exciting to me. And I can't wait to see what happens. And I'm not going to be crying or anything if Rick Jackson loses. That's not, and he won't be either. Okay? He is doing this for the right reasons. Not because his dad wants him to, or it's the next step for him in his political career, or any of that kind of stuff. It's because he feels so blessed to have gone from foster care to billionaire, and he's really the real deal. I am sorry about all the negative ads that got put out there against him, and I think he was a little surprised too at the level. I think he knew it was going to happen, but the level, that it was happening. But bottom line is, this is a good man that I guarantee you, like Trump, I'm not saying he's Trump, but like Trump, prior to Trump getting into politics, almost nobody said anything negative about Donald Trump. Democrats, Republicans, independents, they all came to kiss the ring and ask for his support. He had supported Hillary Clinton. He had supported different people. He had changed parties a number of times, but he was always the positive guy. Oprah Winfrey wanted to talk to him. Barbara Walters wanted to talk to him. He was positive. Everybody liked him. Everybody thought he was a good guy. They didn't maybe like some of his, serial monogamy that he does. But all in all, from a business standpoint, people liked him and they liked what he did. Rick Jackson's kind of the same way. I can guarantee you, prior to him getting into this race, that you would not have found a single person, Democrat, Republican, Independent, that would have said anything but good things about Rick Jackson. Because that's been my experience, that he is always involved in the right projects. He's humble. He does things, if he thinks things ought to be done, he gets them done. And I guarantee you that every politician, that's why sometimes he gave to Democrats, is because they asked. And in the case of Stacey Abrams, she was, go back and look at her disclosures from 2010, 12, and 14. And I would go even back to 2008, 10, and 12. 14, she was starting to get political. There are a lot of Republicans on those disclosures. There's a lot of Republicans that have run for office on those disclosures. Okay? She was working both sides of the fence at that point in time. And she was working with Governor Deal in a very strong way. It's really not a fair thing to say, oh, he's a horrible person because he gave to a Democrat. I mean, and then, now one of the ads are like he held a fundraiser for Jeff Duncan. He held a fundraiser for Jeff Duncan, and that somehow makes him a problem. Jeff Duncan was a Republican until a minute ago. He had the most conservative points of view. That's the real reason why he didn't do any better in the Democratic primary, because the average Democratic voter could not believe that he went from the positions he held 4 years ago to the positions he was holding today. And yes, people change a little bit, but it's not a 180 turn. It might be, that you go from being pro-life with no exceptions to pro-life where you accept rape, incest, and life of the mother. You don't go from pro-life to pro-choice, no exceptions. That's just, or with all exceptions. It's just not believable. And that's what happened. One thing I will say is that I think that this race will be the telling one, that if Rick Jackson wins this race, then I think Derek Dooley's going to win the Senate side. If Burt Jones wins, then probably Mike Collins is going to win. Now, the Senate race is going to be a little farther apart, I think, than the governor's race. I thought yesterday that the governor's race would be the farther apart one. There'd be more of a gap. But I'm thinking now, looking at how the turnouts have been by county, that it may go the other way. But either way, we'll know tonight, and we'll probably know by 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock at the latest. It'll be called for one person or the other. And what I hope is that since that if Burt loses, and I know he's a little bit involved, he'll get a lot of pressure from Trump if it's close to challenge it. And what I think is really important is that you accept outcomes. And I've gone through the list of elections: 1896, 1920, 1960, 2000, and 2020 were all presidential elections that had a lot of questions that went along with them. And, Richard Nixon in 1960 could have and probably would have won if he had challenged the election in Illinois. But he didn't want to do that to the country, and he went on to be governor of California and then got elected president. Had his own problems with Watergate, but he was an honorable man in the 1960 election, and he lived to fight another day. In a way, even with all the complaining that President Trump has done about the 2020 election, and I think he has some legitimate things to complain about, he lived to fight another day. That's why I don't understand the continuing focus on it by him, because he with the numbers, with the getting the popular vote, the electoral college, and by getting all the other things that are happening, that he won in the improved margins in all these different areas, he vindicated himself related to 2020. Now, I know he thinks he doesn't need vindication. He thinks he won 2020. I legitimately think that he thinks he won 2020. But I guess I'm more of a constitutionalist in that the process went through. And you know what? There were challenges to George Bush's certification. There were challenges to Barack Obama's certification. It is not unusual to have challenges. It is unusual to live in the age of social media that we do, where you can keep the darn thing going forever. And it's not healthy to keep focusing on something that you can't change. You can't change the past. He's already been adjudicated a number of ways and has not gotten what he wanted. And so at some point, you got to let it go and you got to move on and do good work. And I think he's about to do some great work as it relates to Iran and the rest of the markets. We'll take a break.
What you see is what you get. I call it like I see it. What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong, ladies and gentlemen. We have always believed that on this radio program.
It's Todd Starnes, weekdays at noon on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Have you heard a politician promise one thing but do something different when they're in office? As a member of iVoteMyVote.com, you can make sure that the candidates you support with your votes know what is important to you and that you will hold them accountable. And as a member of iVoteMyVote.com, you'll let the candidates know what is important to you. With a $5 membership of iVoteMyVote.com, you can make your voice be heard today.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Breaking news. Here's Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Over the last 8 years, we've accomplished a lot, and we've had a strong ally in Burt Jones. Burt knows how to get things done because that's what he's done in the state Senate and as lieutenant governor. Cutting taxes, taking criminals off the streets, raising teacher pay, creating jobs. Burt has been there every step of the way.
Let's get the vote out for Burt on Tuesday.
And here's President Trump, also endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Burt Jones has been an incredible leader. This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win. Burt Jones is going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia.
Georgia, now it's time for all Republicans to unite and vote Burt Jones for governor on Tuesday.
Paid for by Burt Jones for Georgia.
Always here, always local.
From the Access North Georgia Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, polls are open for Georgia's 2026 primary election runoff races, including for governor and for a U.S. Senate seat. Details at accessnorthga.com. And coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
How do you get to the World Cup without shelling out a fortune? Well, maybe you take a school bus.
That's where the Providence Tartan Army comes in.
We were very disappointed in Boston. They robbed us blind.
Instead of paying $80 for commuter rail tickets to and from Foxborough, these Scotland fans chartered a fleet of more than 20 yellow school buses.
We spoke to a few bus companies and the prices were incredible. So we then had a little bit of a joke. Let's get some school buses, the schools are off. And all of a sudden we rented almost every school bus in Rhode Island.
We've also got about $16,000 of beer, and then we've got the biggest backlot party and tailgate you've ever seen.
It is the Martha Zoller Show. I want to correct. I thought it was 80 buses. It was 20 buses, but it was funny. And then we had enough money for $16,000 worth of beer.
I was about to say, so they cheaped out on the transportation. They saved it even more though in their alcohol costs.
So I remember, I remember during the Olympics, the '96 Olympics, that when the Australian team got there, all the beer disappeared from the convenience stores around where they were staying.
Oh, I know the liquor stores made a lot of money that month.
They really did. And there's this funny clip of a guy going through airline security with like the biggest bottle of ranch dressing you can find.
They get the jumbo size.
Because I think that's an American thing, ranch. I do.
I feel like it is, but also too just the size of it too.
It's like
I know
everything's
definitely
bigger.
is.
Everything's bigger. I remember talking to Frank Norton years ago. He was building a new pantry because he was really into buying, the large sizes of things that he used, so he could save money. And it was funny because I think his was more like olive oil than ranch dressing though. So it was a lot.
Oh, I bet.
Anyway, so here are the two closing ads. First for Rick Jackson we'll play, and then we'll play Bert's ad. Here is the Rick Jackson closing ad that's running today.
The man who is shaking up Georgia's governor's race.
Rick Jackson is leading
the pack.
It's a bombshell. It changes the entire calculus of everything we thought we knew about this governor's race.
It's a cartel, and I'm coming to break it up.
Georgia governor candidate Rick Jackson's campaign is in full force.
He's Georgia Trump, man. He don't need the governorship, okay? Just like Trump didn't need the presidency.
The complete insanity that's happened across the country in the last few years, it ends in Georgia when I'm governor.
He has his lead over Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, a man largely believed to be the GOP frontrunner just a few weeks ago.
I can't be bought, and I won't back down. And I'm in this fight to win big for Georgia. And I am running to make sure every Georgian, every single one, has the chance to achieve their American dream.
So that's the closing ad for Burt Jones. It's running. You heard it probably coming into our program. He has bought a schedule all the way through August. And, so he's very optimistic going into this. Now, here's the final ad for Burt Jones.
Here's Governor Kemp with an important announcement.
Over the last 8 years, we've accomplished a lot, and we've had a strong ally in Burt Jones. Burt knows how to get things done, cutting taxes, taking criminals off the streets, raising teacher pay, creating jobs. Burt has been there every step of the way.
Join Governor Kemp and President Trump in supporting Burt Jones for governor.
Let's get the vote out for Burt on Tuesday.
Keep chopping.
So I did exchange a few text messages with Governor Kemp, and I told him I was surprised that he did this endorsement so late. I said I will be supporting him on his Senate choice, but I will not be supporting him on the governor's choice. I said, but I know we'll be working on something together again, because that's kind of my philosophy about Republican politics, is that you support who you want to support. I don't say anything radical or untrue about the candidates I'm not supporting. And then, someday we're going to be on the same team again, and that's okay. My friend Brian Robinson and I are both supporting Rick Jackson, and so he's actually on the staff. I'm not on the staff, but he is he's a hardworking guy, and both of us thought Chris Carr was the better guy. I still think Chris Carr has the best resume. I really do. Okay, he raised the most money from outside sources, but he wasn't a self-funder. And he didn't do as well as I would have hoped he would have done. But he endorsed Rick Jackson. So I did get a couple of text messages in when I was asking the question about why he switched from Rick Jackson to Burt Jones. And they said, I'm a man, and because I was said I can't tell from this if you're a man or not. I'm a man, and I initially really did like Jackson's backstory, but I've come to realize that neither candidate is squeaky clean. And first of all, if you're expecting squeaky clean from any candidate, you're never going to get that, because we're all fallen people and we have done things we didn't like. But I just really, what seemed disingenuous to me was I know for a fact every one of not just the Republican delegation, but the Democratic delegation, a lot of them went to Rick Jackson for help on issues, especially if they had to do with children or foster care or anything like that. And they all asked for his help. Up until, he got into this race, they all thought he was the greatest guy ever. And this is the problem with politics. The minute somebody, and again, this could be a story about Burt Jones. It's just he was in the race longer. Okay, I'm just using Rick Jackson because this is a unique experience, okay, as far as how he got into this race. But you take a guy like Rick or Donald Trump, the minute they get into the race, all of a sudden people start choosing sides and they forget everything nice they ever said about the guy. I just think that that's wrong. And I think that Donald Trump has been fighting that for 10 years. And it's been unfair. I may not like everything that he does. I don't like everything that he does. But he does, he has been treated unfairly. I think that anybody could say that. But if you don't expect to be treated unfairly when you get into the political realm, that's just the way it is. I mean, I remember sitting in, doing a show in the Capitol with a first-term senator that was going through the first sine die of their term. And they basically got, a shell game played on them as far as their legislation is concerned. And the person was hearing about it real time, and they were mad. They were really mad because they had acted in good faith throughout the session, trying to get things done for other people. And when it came time to get what they wanted done, they had the switcho change-o done on their bill, and nobody talked to them about it ahead of time. If I had that story happen to me once, and this was a couple of years ago that it happened, it's happened 15 times. There is a lot of backroom dealing that goes. Well, but you could still, my problem with all of that is you can still be transparent with people, tell people what to expect. I mean, I understand there was a phone call early in the day between two parties that were involved in these last minute endorsements, and they didn't tell each other what was about to happen. Usually, say I like two people in a race, or I know two people in a race, and I'm going to endorse somebody else. I'm going to call that other person that I know before I make the endorsement and let them know that's what I'm going to do. That's what I do repeatedly. I didn't do it in the case of Rick Jackson and Burt Jones because honestly, I don't know Burt that well. And, he's not as easy as a person to get to know. But the last time I saw Burt, he smiled, gave me a hug, and he said, I'm going to win you over when this primary's over. And so we'll see. If he wins, we'll see if that's what they do. I think that you have to be a grown-up in these kind of situations. And I'm not preaching saying I'm better than anyone else. I'm not. I get my feelings hurt. I get mad about things, all the things that happen. Okay? But the bottom line is, if you're a Republican, you have common values. These candidates are not that different from each other. Okay? They've just had to go after each other in crazy ways. And we've got to all be together tomorrow morning. It's the Martha Zoller Show.
Why do I need a trust when I already have a will? This is Kevin Tharp, elder law and estate planning attorney, and I hear this question all the time. The quick answer is that your will is missing title and a trust is not. So a will takes you as far as a car without an engine. Come and sit down with me and I can show you how all of this works and how important it is to have a complete plan. But you have to take the first step. Log on to KevinTharp.com.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids Max Strength. Its dual-active formula has 1,500 milligrams of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaids spells powerful relief. 1,500 milligrams is our highest amount of antacid per tablet. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Identity theft can cost more than you think. Drained investment accounts, stolen tax returns, lost wages, expenses for lawyers. It's a lot. That's why LifeLock is backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, which covers up to $1 million for stolen funds, fees, and experts and lawyers, and out-of-pocket expenses. Don't face the burden of identity theft alone. Protect your future and finances with LifeLock. Join now. Save up to 30% off your first year with promo code BECK at LifeLock.com. 1-800-LifeLock, promo code BECK. LifeLock.com. Terms to apply.
Keeping you in touch with your government.
Our guest this morning on Mornings on Main Street has been Georgia Commissioner of Agriculture Tyler Harper.
Joining me right now is 9th District Representative Andrew Clyde.
We're joined in studio by Hall County District 2 Commissioner Billy Powell.
Your daily town hall meeting is right here on North Georgia's News Talk. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10:30.
Fox News, I'm Gianna Delosi. The FBI revealing that it foiled an alleged terror plot targeting Sunday's UFC Freedom event at the White House. Officials say nearly 24 plotters were identified with 5 people in custody.
Investigators tell Fox the plan was to use drones with explosives to hit buildings near the White House, which would force a mass evacuation and steer crowds toward a pre-staged sniper team. A, quote, second wave was allegedly planning to storm the White House gate.
Fox's David Spunt, President Trump rolling into the G7 after striking a framework deal to end the war with Iran.
I'll probably have a press conference and read it to you word by word so that the press covers it accurately.
Now, the president says the vice president, J.D. Vance, will attend a formal signing ceremony in Switzerland Friday.
No matter what happens, Iran's nuclear program has been destroyed. They have no enrichment capacity.
Vance on Fox. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access North Georgia Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. Habersham County officials are asking for the public's aid to locate a missing 17-year-old last seen late Monday night. Officials say through social media, Judy Blair Sailors was last seen leaving the Dairy Queen in Cornelia in a red Ford Ranger pickup truck following her work shift at around 11:55 p.m. She was heading towards Stevens County on Talmadge Drive. A description of Judy and a photo can be found at accessnorthga.com. A Gainesville man behind bars after authorities say he intentionally caused a crash that left 2 people hurt in Claremont this month. The crash happened June 6th on Cleveland Highway at King Street. Derek Booth with the Hall County Sheriff's Office says Eric Domingo Romero was driving east on King Street when he ran a stop sign and hit a southbound car on Cleveland Highway, driven by Edwin Omar Roman Suarez of Gainesville.
Mr. Romero was driving under the influence of alcohol at the time and then intentionally drove into Suarez's vehicle in an attempt to harm himself.
Romero faces several charges, including DUI and aggravated assault. And the Gainesville City Board of Education approved a tentative budget for the upcoming fiscal year, as it says it's unable to adopt a 2027 budget as it's awaiting tentative millage rate and digest projections from the city of Gainesville. And by law, the systems must adopt a tentative budget for the next fiscal year by June 30th. More details and more news at accessnorthga.com. Now here's your Access North Georgia weather forecast.
Mainly cloudy skies, scattered rain showers, especially this afternoon. Highs today in the low 70s. Tonight, more cloud cover, scattered rain showers, lows around 67. From the WDUN Lawson Air Conditioning and Plumbing Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Talmo, 73 degrees. Buford was 72, and in Gainesville, 71. From North Georgia's News Talk AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Are you in the market for a new home? Of course, you want one that is worthy of your hard-earned dollars. Make it a Right Choice home from Jackson EMC. Every Right Choice home is guaranteed to be energy efficient and comfortable. And each one receives Jackson EMC's lowest energy rate. Right Choice Homes, energy efficient, guaranteed. To learn more about the Right Choice Home program, watch our videos at jacksonemc.com/rightchoice.
Don't let your lawn take over your free time. Take it back with a Walker mower from Howard Brothers. With incredible cut quality, easy handling, and all-day comfort, Walker mowers turn mowing into something you can actually enjoy. Whether you're a homeowner or a professional, Walker delivers the performance that keeps your lawn looking its best. Stop by Howard Brothers today and find the Walker that fits your property. The grass is always greener with Walker mowers and Howard Brothers.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Martha Zoller Show, and all these these soccer fans are used to singing songs in unison, so the Scots have adopted Take Me Home Country Roads by John Denver, which is really great because that area of America was largely settled by Scots when they came during the potato famine, and I know that was in Ireland, but they were having one in Scotland too at that period of time. And, it's funny. I went to Ireland 4 years ago with a lovely group from Gainesville and with the radio station. And, you can still tell that there's a lot of pain still about the potato famine in Ireland, that what we know now is that the British government was honoring their export contracts of food while the Irish were starving. And, they looked at them as a different kind of person. So, we all got problems we got to deal with, but we all got things to solve too. Bubba Longrear is joining me right now. He's running for state superintendent. And we did invite Richard Woods to come on also today, but he came on last week. So Bubba is here with us today. And Bubba, it's that final day. What is your message for this runoff?
Thank you, Martha. Thanks for having me. Just really trying to encourage everybody that hasn't voted to get out and vote. If you're uncertain of the candidates, take a little look. Look at the incumbent. Look at me, Bubba Longrear, and just for the future of the state of Georgia. I mean, across the board, we need voter turnout, but specifically in this race, I would just ask voters to go to the polls today and let their voice be heard.
And what have you've been a superintendent, you've been involved in education, but I'm sure traveling the entire state has been a new experience. What have you learned that you didn't expect while you went through this process?
Well, I have traveled the state, and we have worked extremely hard at this and have had some great reception, great support throughout. But, probably the biggest thing is, as you go around to different communities across the state, there's just good people everywhere and people that just want what's best for the state. Unfortunately, with this down ballot state school superintendent race, it does not get a lot of notoriety, but the groups we've been able to speak to have really been supportive and just very welcoming to us, and just appreciate that opportunity. But just probably the takeaway is there's good people all over Georgia.
Absolutely. Well, so have you voted already?
I have.
Did you vote early or today?
I voted early.
You voted early. Good. Yeah, I did that. I did that too. The turnout looks a little low in rural Georgia, a little higher in metro Atlanta. Do you see any impact on that for you and your background, or are you just trying to get every vote out?
Trying to get every vote out, Martha. But when I look back at the election the first time, in the primary where we really snuck into a runoff, metro Atlanta was really pretty favorable to us. The margins were closer there. We invested some money to target those 15 metro counties. So hopefully those will come back out. And whereas before there were 5 names on the ballot in this race, now there's down to 2. So just the odds of me getting one of those votes that didn't vote for the incumbent before are more likely now.
Absolutely. If people want to help you or need to know more about your positions in these final hours, how can they do that?
Absolutely. Bubba, the number 4GA.com is my website. I'd love for people to go look. I'm retiring at the end of this month as a 11-year local school superintendent. I've been 30 years in public education as a teacher, coach, principal, special education director for 7 years, and have had a really blessed career. And want to take that to the state level and serve the communities of Georgia and hopefully improve education for students and teachers throughout the state.
Well, Bubba, thank you. Bubba Longrear, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Martha. Appreciate what you do.
Thank you. Good luck. And Caleb Hutchins and I will be on from 7 to 9 tonight talking about the returns from the race. We're hoping with a low turnout that we will hear, I mean, I don't want it to be a low turnout, but if it is, that we will hear pretty quickly, that we'll know, and that these parties all around Georgia that are going to be, they're all called victory parties, okay, whether you are going to win or not, but hopefully they will be fun. They will be fun. Got a couple of text messages in. Don in Cleveland said, good morning. I voted early for Burt Jones and Derek Dooley and Tim Fleming. I did go from Collins to Dooley in the runoff. My thinking is the baggage with Collins will hurt him in the general election. When it comes to endorsements, especially with Trump, he has a history of jumping on a winning campaign at the last minute. The sooner we move on from Trump and unite the Republican Party, the better off we will be. Some early polling that's come out of the matchups, both Burt Jones and Rick Jackson are pretty far behind Keisha Lance Bottoms at this point in time. That's going to change the minute we have an actual nominee. It'll tighten up. But it is really ours to lose, and so we have to make sure we have the right candidate in there. Governor Kemp is still the most popular person in the state. Of the negatives, Rick Jackson is at a -10, and Burt Jones is at a -16, and that's from interactive polling. And the challenge with interactive polling is I think it's an internet poll, which I'm not sure if they ever get that right. I did actually answer all the polls that I got, which were a lot of them this time because I wanted my voice to be heard in that particular way. But I just never know this early until the field is set. I don't know if, you can really know how it's going to come out. Got another text message in from Todd in Buford. I'm voting Jackson. All I ever heard from Jones ads was griping about Jackson instead of what I've done and what I'm going to do better than the other guy. Jackson at least mentions what he plans to do. Jones is a career politician, and it's easy to see the major conflicts of interest to his gained wealth while in office. Who said, if I don't get it done, I won't run again? That's what Rick Jackson said. So anyway, text messages that came in. And look, I'm looking at this, and I'm going to be watching the numbers throughout the day. If it holds that rural Georgia is a low turnout and Atlanta's a bigger turnout, I think that favors Dooley and Jackson just because of where they've spent their money. But again, you don't know with runoffs. Runoffs you cannot predict. All these predictions that I've get has been on history of how runoffs go. But every runoff is really unique. And so I'm just trying to put the best data together so that we can have the most interesting conversation. But I would love to be proved wrong. I love being proved wrong because I learned something from it. So it's something, and I've changed my mind about things over the years, and that's what you have to do. You have to do that if you learn something new. Now, you can't do what Jeff Duncan did, where you change your mind on everything and you go 180 degrees from where you were. That's just not believable, and that's what happened. And also, there's a problem in the Democratic Party. Josh McLaren probably will win lieutenant governor for the Democratic Party, but Josh McLaren has this issue. So did Jeff Duncan, and there's other Democrats too, that they come in there in a party that in Georgia is a majority black party, and they start acting like, they pat the little head and say, hey, little one, I really know what's good for you. And they call it the white savior syndrome, that you get a white guy, a white Democrat guy that comes in and thinks they're gonna save everything for you because you little black people can't do it for yourself. That's just the wrong way to approach it. And also, if Keisha Lance Bottoms does not win, then that's 3 black women that the Democrats have put up, which is the most loyal voting group within the Democratic Party, that will not, and then they've lost 3 times if she does not win. It's going to be close, folks. The last 2 elections have been close. This election is going to be close. You got to make sure you got somebody in there that can take it, as Superintendent Woods used to say, take it to the woodshed. They got to take it all the way to the woods and make sure they fight every single day. We'll take a break.
all the updates on the way home.
Afternoons move faster with the essential updates you need.
Your show is just so informative.
It's The Drive at 5, weekdays on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Todd Starnes here for the folks at Extreme Clean Auto Spa, where keeping your car clean is easy and affordable. Extreme Clean keeps your car looking great with the touch-free car wash at their Brownsbridge Road location. Plus, they make it affordable with monthly memberships for less than the price of 2 washes, and it's good for 1 wash per day. Now, that's what I call a great value. So keep your car clean without cleaning out your wallet. Visit Extreme Clean on Brownsbridge Road and just off White Sulphur Road in Gainesville. Veteran owned and operated. It's Extreme Clean Auto Spa.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And right now, new mattresses start at $1,500 during our 4th of July sale. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number. To a good life sleep.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Breaking news. Here's Governor Brian Kemp and First Lady Marty Kemp endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Over the last 8 years, we've accomplished a lot, and we've had a strong ally in Burt Jones. Burt knows how to get things done because that's what he's done in the state Senate and as lieutenant governor. Cutting taxes, taking criminals off the streets, raising teacher pay, creating jobs. Burt has been there every step of the way.
Let's get the vote out for Burt on Tuesday.
And here's President Trump, also endorsing Burt Jones for governor.
Burt Jones has been an incredible leader. This man has my complete and total endorsement, and I really want to see him win. Burt Jones is going to make a great, great governor. You will be very happy, Georgia.
Georgia, now it's time for all Republicans to unite and vote Burt Jones for governor on Tuesday.
Paid for by Burt Jones for Georgia.
Always here, always local.
From the Access North Georgia Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, Hall County Sheriff Gerald Couch expected back to work following his expired suspension while facing criminal DUI charges in a pending case. Details at accessnorthga.com and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System Studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
How much did it cost you to come over to the States for the World Cup?
The wife doesn't know this, but £4,500 in accommodation, 4,400 quid in tickets. It was 700 quid in flights, but I went business class. It's now £2,500. It's quite a lot.
So much money, it's not even funny. About 10 grand.
Well, we are here for Perth, Australia. It took us a while to get here, the flights and that, and probably a few thousand actually. Yes.
How much did we spend to come over to the States for this trip?
Well, that's a story. I spent a lot, but my flight was delayed, so I'm going to claim it all back.
I'm here on the company dollar. I'm here working, so I'm actually paid to be here. So I'm maybe the wrong person to ask.
I think I'm about 30 grand so far. I bought a hospitality package for me and my son.
Too much. I don't know why I get flights kind of cheap, about 600 quid after the bombings in Mexico and that, man. So booked at the right time, but accommodation and that's what like £2 grand or something.
Aye, something like that. I live in Melbourne, so I spent an absolute fucking power, man. I think I spent upwards of about £4,000 to come here.
Honestly, mate. Fuck knows.
It is the Martha Zoller Show, and these guys are like all over the place talking about the money that they spent on this thing.
You heard thousands upon thousands of quid, which I don't know what that translates to for the U.S. dollar.
A pound, it's about $1.30.
Yeah, so they're paying, these are insane prices, Martha, for tickets just to see a game. And like I said, this isn't even the final game. This is the opening stages. We're just getting started.
Yeah, and I was looking at the bracket because I'm really trying to learn about it. It's like the basketball bracket on steroids.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a international March Madness, if you want to equate it like that. But,
yeah, I love that,
like
international
they
march.
do it with the group stages, so, each team plays the same handful however many times, and after the winner of that, then you move on to the round of 16, and then so on and so forth. And I will say the U.S. off to a great start so far, and our next game is, I believe, on Friday night, so a little bit later in the week.
So we got a text message in, says, hubby and I just voted, but we were number 65 and 66, so not a great turnout here at Lanier Point Church or New Bethany Road in Beaufort. And Greg Bluestein and Patricia Murphy are going to be here on Friday. Greg Bluestein said that there's it's pretty low turnout in rural Georgia. That probably, I don't know who that favors. I think that obviously the candidates that live outside of Atlanta probably will do better in rural areas. And the thing we have to deal with in Georgia is that Atlanta's roughly 5.5 million, and also the rest of the state is 5.5 million. So you can join us on the phones at 770-535-2911. We're talking a little bit about how people are reacting to, everything they're seeing in America. And, I was not excited about FIFA, Logan, but now I think it's so great because people are kind of getting to see us unfiltered, and they're getting to go to places that aren't there's going to be some games in New York, but they haven't happened yet. But they're getting to places that are not major media markets.
Right.
And they're getting to see kind of the way America really is.
Yeah, like I said, they're going out to the Midwest, seeing the farm life. We had the clip earlier of the gentleman in Alabama experiencing life down there. And, like I said, just seeing the Great Plains all around, all across the U.S., whether it be wherever you're at. And
so there was this Frenchman going into Buc-ee's that, he says, I really wanted to hate it. Going in, I wanted to be a snooty Frenchman and hate it. He says, because first of all, you got 120 pumps. What are you doing, refueling the U.S. Air Force? It's like, why do you need 120 pumps? But I tell you what, when we were coming home in the rain yesterday, or Sunday, we stopped at a Buc-ee's because it was new and it was open and we knew there'd be plenty of pumps.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a hard time finding a pump.
Which is crazy to think with how many pumps they have.
Now, granted, it was cut in half because you got to get on a certain side. You know what I mean? But it's just crazy. But he was like talking about, you got this squirrel and people are having their picture taken with a rodent. And he was being very down. And he goes, and then I ate this snack that's like squirrel something. It's Buc-ee's something.
The beaver nuggets, probably.
Beaver nuggets.
That's the main one. Yep.
Beaver nuggets. And he goes, I think that's like sugar, pastry, and methamphetamine. And he said, I had one. It was so delicious. Forget about the croissants.
I know.
It's like so delicious. I went out in my car and ate the rest of them myself. And I was like, okay, we've won you over.
That's it. We won them over with the gluttony. That's what it was.
I haven't tried those yet. Have you tried those?
I have tried the beaver nuggets on
Are they
a few
like
times.
funnel cake? Is that kind of what it's similar to?
I would kind of equate them. Do you remember the corn pop cereal?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of like that, but then you just add on a couple more layers of sugar and you're good to go.
And it's like this big, yeah.
It's about that big, and they're good and crunchy, and so much sugar, but so good.
I remember corn pop cereal. And it is true. I don't want to get away from the fact we are trying to keep people, healthier. I do think we got to get rid of the colors. I do think we got to get rid, unless they're natural colors. I do think that we ought to get rid of a lot of things. But it is, but on vacation, see, the problem is we eat this stuff all the time, okay? The problem is we eat it all the time. These guys are legitimately on vacation.
Right. They're treating it as something like that.
You should eat. I don't think you should eat to being stuffed, but you should eat new things and do new things. I knew people when I took a group of kids on a trip, and there was this one girl that would eat nothing but McDonald's. She didn't try any of the food that was new, and because she was just, I don't like that.
I don't feel like it.
She maybe had the vanilla ice cream from the McDonald's thing, and then maybe a hamburger or something. That's what she ate the whole trip. And I'm like, you ought to at least try it,
right.
Even if you don't like it.
Just to
try
say,
it.
Yeah, but say just to experience what it, if you like it or not, and see if it's something you would want to get in the future.
So a big thing in the UK is blood sausage, okay, and it's black, and
yes.
and it. I don't love the taste, but I tried it. And it was just like too gamey for me. I didn't really like
See,
it at all.
I've tried it as well. Just cooked it like a Christmas dinner, right? It was there one time for me in my fiance's family. And I was like, I've never had it, but it's, they seem to love it. So let me see if I'm a fan of it. I took a bite. I'm like, not for me. I'll take a little bit more rice to compensate then.
Now, my grandmother used to tell the story because she was born in 1880, came to this country in 1903. And then got married like in 1907, something like that. And, she would tell the stories about how when they killed a cow, because they had cows in Germany, they killed a cow, they used everything. They used the skin, they used everything. And that was where kind of blood pudding came from.
Right.
Is that you're trying to use all this stuff. Now, today, they call it blood pudding. It's not blood pudding like it used to be. It's more like a sausage with different kind of seasonings in. I don't even know if they still use blood in it or not, or if it's just kind of coloring that makes it dark. I don't know. But we loved it. We stayed in this place in Scotland, our first trip to Scotland, and they had this, it was a bed and breakfast, so they had breakfast every morning. And they had salmon, and they had the traditional English breakfast, which has tomatoes and mushrooms and eggs and sausage. And the bacon is like country bacon here.
Oh, yes.
Like it's big pieces. They're not like the little thin strips. So, and Lynn got to where he liked all that stuff. He loved that breakfast. The eggs were very good. I will say the food tasted very good because it was fresh. Now, the family that I think we saw that went to the Chick-fil-A the first time was just like hysterical. So I don't know.
They experienced some good fast food Southern charm right there with the chicken biscuits and sandwiches and hash browns and it's so good and we take it for granted so much.
I mean, there were a lot of stories out of Boston because those Scots were making a lot of news, but all in all, the really good stories have come from the South and the Southwest.
Yeah, that's predominantly where I've heard them from.
And 20 people said hello to me. We don't even talk to each other. I mean,
please and thank you.
Please and
wow,
thank you.
I was taken aback.
So that's what we're going to do for this runoff. We're going to say please and thank you. And we're going to be here tonight at 7 o'clock. Get out to vote, folks. Don't make this a low turnout runoff where it's not representing, because I don't want any whining tomorrow. I won't whine if my candidates lose. I don't want you whining and saying it wasn't fair, it wasn't this, that. You win or you lose, and then you're gracious in the loss. Because let me tell you something from firsthand experience, I learned a heck of a lot more about myself by losing the race. Do I think I would have been a great congresswoman? Yes. Do I still think I was the best choice in that race? Yes, I do. But I accepted that I lost. I ended up endorsing Doug in 2016. He didn't need my endorsement before that, but I endorsed Doug in 2016 because he asked me to. And Doug has done a great job. He's not the congressman anymore, and we've now got Andrew Clyde. I didn't pick Andrew Clyde in this race, but I'm accepting that he won this primary. So, I just think we've got to be less invested in politics where it's our whole life. And I know that sounds like a lot coming from me where it's been my whole life, but it's not that important. It is important to get the right people in, but fighting with each other that you basically agree 80% with is not a smart thing to do. We'll be back.